Okay, well, this will be our first official screencast, and I'm going to attempt to do something a little bit different with this. So if I'm fumbling through some different parts, please just have a little patience with me. I'm going to try to step into the future today. So we're going to go ahead and start with our presentation here. And so this is our typical slideshow for a faculty meeting. And so you're probably wondering, why am I receiving this video? So the first part of what we're doing here, if you can look at this, is we're going to try what we call flipping a faculty meeting. There's lots of information on the internet about flipping instruction in class, and that might be a bit advanced for some of our kids. But it is a really neat concept, and I wanted to try to do this for you guys, because I think that by putting this in your hands ahead of time, maybe we can get right to the heart of the matter in our faculty meetings. I know time is precious whenever it's after school, and so this way you have the information ahead of time. You're going to be able to see it, and you can think about questions and issues, and if we need to, rather than you hearing me present information in a faculty meeting, you're going to be able to digest this ahead of time, and we can get right down to discussion, right down to addressing issues if there's any work that we need to do in a faculty meeting, so that it's really a true form of staff development. And so the second item that we have here is our Twitter account. This is actually my Twitter account, and I'm going to take just a moment here to walk you through Twitter. And so I'm going to escape out of our presentation for just a minute, and I'm going to visit Safari for just a second. And we're going to search for Twitter. And when you bring up Twitter, it's going to ask you to either log in, or it's going to ask you, if you're new to Twitter, to sign up. And I'm just going to encourage you to go ahead and sign up for Twitter. This is it has some similarities to Facebook, but one of the big differences is that it's short and it's quick. You can also install this as an application to your phone. If you have an iPhone, you'll go through the App Store, as you can see here. If you have a Droid or an Android-based phone, and you can go to the Google Play Store and download Twitter. And then you'll want to follow us at SJE_rocks. And what I'm going to use Twitter for is to make this kind of a form of communicating with parents. I want to begin to, as I get more comfortable, I want to begin to present our Twitter account to parents, so that they can get, another way that they can get information as it's happening. Also on the Twitter account, we can post pictures, like from our Fall Fun Day. You'll see some pictures a little bit later in our presentation, and they can see that type of information. Or just like this week, we have some very important testing, and we can always present to our parents information, and this is just another way that they can get it. Our second goal in using Twitter, one of the things that I want to do is model technology to you, kind of like we're doing today. And so sometimes it's going to work just the way I want it to, and sometimes it's not. But all the same, I'm going to try to be courageous and do this. And then finally, the third motivation I have with Twitter is that we need to always find positive things to tell our parents about what's happening here at school. And so sometimes, when people don't hear things from us, they draw their own conclusions. And sometimes those conclusions aren't always positive. And so I want to give people real life examples of the great things that are happening here. I want to be able to highlight the great things that you're doing as a staff for these kids, and how we're connecting. And so let me see if I can log in here. It's my username. let's see here. I'm not going to save my password right now, but let's see if it brings it up. Okay, and so this is what my Twitter account looks like. Oops. This is one of those things that it's not working correctly. So let me back up. Okay, so here we are again, and on my Twitter account you'll notice that it's got my name on it, and of course this is my Twitter account, but I'm going to use this as our school account. I really don't have anything else on it. If you start your Twitter account, you can put your own picture in the spot where the little egg is. So for right now I'm just an egg, but I'll change that soon. So far I've made 5 tweets. You can tweet pictures just like you're seeing here on my feed. And one of the neat things about Twitter that's different from Facebook is that on Twitter people can comment, but if they're putting negative comments on there, if somebody's just unhappy and they put something, only I'll be able to see it on my feed. If you're following along, you're not going to see those comments unless somebody chooses to. What they do, they can copy my post and they can retweet it on their own feed. And so you can see here that I have 16 people that I'm following, and some of these folks that I'm following, they have stuff to do with education. Sometimes it's an author of a book. It's just some different stuff that I have interest in, and then I can see how many people are following me, and I can always check on that. So when I'm looking at this right now and I look at who's following me, we've got a couple staff members that are following me, and then what I can turn around and do is I can click here and I can follow them, and then their information will show up in my feed. So if that's what I'm choosing to do, I might, if it's a school one, I may choose not to follow somebody just because I want to keep the information that we're sending or that we're tweeting just simplified. So that covers Twitter. I'm going to go ahead and back out of Twitter, and we'll go back to our presentation. And here's a photo. I shared a photo, of course, you can see, of some of our staff members from our Fall Fun Day. So then we have this other item here. We have math journals in our presentation, and I'll go back to following our presentation. We have math journals, and we have Google Drive, and then I have iPads on here. So that's what I'm kind of building to. Is you're seeing me in the faculty meetings use an iPad, and you see Ms. Goodwin, she uses her iPad for everything. She's an excellent leader with technology, and she's using that technology for just about anything you can imagine. And so I'm trying to keep up with her in doing so also. But let me go through all 3 of these. You had a consultant come into your class, and when they were debriefing with you, they may have, Ms. Campbell may have mentioned to you something about math journals. And so I know that one or 2 teachers have talked to me about math journals and have expressed some concern. And so here's just something I want to throw out to you right now. The expectation when our consultants are coming in, they're going to challenge us and they're going to push us, but they are not coming into your classroom with the expectation that you have already implemented all of these things. We're working towards implementing this. She's sat down and she talked to me about some things that she feels would really help with math instruction, and so I've listened to her and I agree with some of her suggestions. And so math journals is something that we want to work towards. There is no expectation. There's nobody that's going to walk through and give you a nick or a poor walkthrough because we're not seeing math journals yet. If we never see math journals, then we'll start talking about what we need to do with that. But I really want to encourage you guys to take whatever Ms. Campbell can give you. If you're struggling with something, ask her questions. And so in just a second I'm going to back out of our presentation again, and I'm going to walk through these next two items, Math Journals and Google Drive. So here we go. If we go back to our website, and of course, whenever we are online, or when I'm online in this presentation, I'm on a MacBook. I'm using an Apple product, so it looks a little bit different than what you would see. So right now, I'm going to jump in, and we're going to, let me go ahead and log out of here if I know how to do that. And then I'm going to go to our district site. And when we get to our district site, I want you to take a look up here at the top where it says departments. And whenever you go to departments, if you slide down, there's one item called instructional technology. So we're going to click on that. And Ms. Kay Harrington has been putting this information together for us and helping us out with technology, but she's also working with our consultants. And so under the instructional technology, the sidebar that's in gold, you can see the third bullet is instructional strategies with math. And if you click on that, here's some information about Math Journals. And if you scroll down, after you read some information, there are some videos here that you can see that are covering Math Journals. And if I click on this, which I'm going to, and I'm only going to click on it for a few minutes because it's going to bring us to YouTube. And you never know if YouTube, sometimes YouTube is outlawed and sometimes it's not. So here I am at school at my desk, so I'm going to try to hit this Math Journal video. If it's blocked, then we'll get it unlocked, but we'll see here. We're going to discover together. And you'll notice if it runs, this is Cindy Luttrell. This presentation on interactive math journaling can and you can hear Cindy Luttrell talking, or you may not be able to right now because I may not have that audio turned on, but it's a slideshow and she's doing a screencast just like we're doing, and you can hear her voice, and she's the consultant that visits the secondary campuses from Region 6. So she works with Ms. Campbell in the same department. I'm going to go ahead and shut this down because if you can't hear this audio right now, it really doesn't help for you to just see that visual presentation, but that's where you can go to get that. And then finally, the next item we're going to cover is Google Drive. And so I'm going to go back to our web page, and I'm going to show you how to use Google Drive. And there's lots of benefits with Google Drive. If you haven't been using Drive yet, you're going to need to download that to your computer. And you will want to download it if you have a smartphone. You want to download it to your phone. If you have a tablet at home, you want to download it to your tablet. You want to put Google Drive on anything that you can, and let me show you why. So we're going to go to Google real quick. It's popping up. And I'm already logged in. When you come to Google, just like when you're logging in for your email at school, you got to come up here and you got to log in. If I wasn't logged in, it would just say, you know, it asked me if I want to sign in here. And so this has changed. This is my school. If I want to come and see my mail, I would click on mail. But I have some apps that are loaded up, and one of those apps is Google Drive. And so I'm going to drop down here. It's the triangle. And if you don't have Google Drive, when you're coming to this particular screen and you ask for Google Drive to come up, a box would show up right here in the middle of your screen and would say you need to download Google Drive. And so I just want to encourage you to do that. And here's why. I have several files, and what I'm doing is this is just like uploading to the cloud. And you as a teacher, a lot of times when you create a document or if you're making an assignment or you're doing any type of work where you're making either a PowerPoint, taking pictures, or if you're using any type of PDF, anything where you have a document and you might want to load it to those handy dandy thumb drives that many of you have, and you keep your files on them. Well, the neat thing about a thumb drive is you can load that up and you can take it wherever you go, and you can plug it into a USB jack, and that's wonderful. But what if you forget your USB drive? And that's what this is all about. This pretty much could eliminate, Google Drive can eliminate the need for using a USB type thumb drive to save your documents. The other thing that's really cool about this is that because our school email is using Google as its primary email account now, all of the school's email addresses are accessible once you log in to your account. So for instance, right now, when I come down here, all of my pictures are on Google Drive. And sometimes I choose to share them. I could share them with any of you. And some people will share them with me. So if you're looking over here on the left-hand column, I can create more files, and I can upload pictures from, if it's my phone, I can upload them from my phone directly into Google Drive, and then I could access them here on my desktop computer. I could upload them from my iPad, which I do all the time, and so does Mrs. Goodwin. She uploads her pictures from her iPad, and she shares them with me. So this next item here says shared with me, and so I'll click here, and these are all the different files that Ms. Goodwin has shared with me. These are from her, and depending on how we're looking at them, you could see that, oh, this is from Lisa Goodwin and the date that she shared it with me. And if I want to, the reason I had it on this other view is because if I wanted to see like pictures from, let's say, the pumpkin patch, and then I can see these different images. I can see our fine folks from the PTO and the work that they did, and I could take this image and I could upload it, and I could use it in a slideshow, or if it was a document, I could use that also. And so here I'm going to show you how I can share one of these pictures with you. And I'm going to go to one of my pictures on my drive, and I have these saved a number of different ways. And so I'll go to Fire Prevention Week. And when we had Fire Prevention Week, we had some good pictures here. And so I'll take one of these pictures, and to give you an example here, I'm going to click on this picture right here. And so I want to share this picture. When I'm looking at it, I'm going to come down here, and there's this little symbol here, and I'm going to hit share. And as soon as I do that, it says, who do I want to invite here? And it tells me I'm the owner. I have it set to private, so people can't just go and edit this. But I'm going to change that here. And so I'm going to send this to Miss Fryer. As soon as I start typing her name in, her email pops up here. So I'm going to click on her name, and then I'm going to say share and save, and I'm giving her the ability. She could even edit this picture, and I'm sending this to her because her son is in that picture. And I can share documents with you at any point in time, and she can share documents with you if she creates something. If you're making something for your entire grade level, and you know everyone would want that, you can put it into your drive. Now I'm going to back out of here. But you can share any of your documents or your pictures, and right now all I have is pictures in here. But you can kind of see the benefit of this. So just to recap this again, you want to go into your browser, you want to go to Google, or you can go just like you're logging in for your email, your Gmail account, and when you do that, you can look for apps. Your apps can come up here on the side, and you can look for more apps if you're missing some, and you can begin to upload these different apps that you want to put on your or to connect with your Google account, and Drive is one of those. You want to upload that to your computer, to every computer that you would use, that you would want to be able to access these files. So now once you have your Google Drive loaded and you have some files saved into Google Drive, then what you can do anywhere you go in the world, if you can access a computer and log into Google, you can access not only your email now, but those important files if you do that. And so let's back out to my drive, and I'll show you one more thing with this. Let's say I wanted to upload a document to Google Drive. You might be saying, well, how do I do that? So I'm going to walk you through that also. I can create a file. And so I'll come up here and I'm going to say, let's create a file. I'm going to create a folder. And when I create that folder, I'll call it something. I'll say, this is my, we're going to load in, I don't know, we'll just say it's a new file. So I create that file. So I'm going to come down here to my folder now that I've made this in my drive. And I'm going to end up deleting this anyway, but I'm going to open this. And so now that I have it open, you can see there's nothing in here. It's a blank screen. And so I can come back up here and I can say, hey, I need to upload something to my file. So I'm going to upload, and it's going to want to look for a file. And I can go to my computer and I can find different files that I have. So maybe I want to put in, here's a copy of our master schedule. And I'm going to choose that. And I'm going to put that, and of course this is going to look just a little bit different on my computer than it would yours, but now I have uploaded and I have in this file the master schedule. And so if I wanted to turn around and share that master schedule with everybody, I'm going to close this out and I could open up this file, and it says no preview is available because it's not a picture, it's just a document. And I could say I want to share it, click on my share button, and then I'm going to come down here, and let's say instead of sharing this master schedule with one individual, I started to hit SJE, and I could say I want to share it with all the SJE teachers to where you could have access to this file, and it'll send it out to you, and everybody that has their Google Drive, or whenever you download your Google Drive, these things will begin to automatically appear and you can have access to them. So this is just one of those major benefits of using Google Drive. This is just a short tutorial. So I'm not going to send this out to you right now. I'm going to cancel that, and we're going to close this out, and I'll get back to our presentation so that we can continue to move along here. So in our presentation, the next item I have here is iPads. And the reason we're bringing this up is that, as you can see, we use an iPad in conjunction with an Apple TV. And that allows us to wirelessly, whatever we see on our iPad screen, you can see on your projector then, or on a television set. And the neat thing about that is it has endless ways that could be used in the classroom. And so when we're putting this together, we're really modeling this not just so that you'll think that we're a super geek and that we know how to use this. It's to present different ways that you might, as a teacher, want to utilize this technology. And so that's where I'm fishing here is there a demand for iPads in the classroom? And so as you get this is one of those things that I want you to chew on and think about, and to give me feedback on that. Because the iPads, of course, is a technology piece that we're really lacking in. It can be used, but we don't want to spend money on technology that is just neat to have but is not really being utilized. And so we'll continue to give you ideas of how you can use that iPad, but I need to hear from you. I need to know who's going to want to pilot different ideas and want to be able to model that and show your fellow teammates in a faculty meeting or in a presentation like this of something that you can do with that iPad. And so now that I've kind of mentioned that and you're chewing on that, we'll revisit that in our faculty meeting. So then we have our PBIS information, and I'm just going to run through these real quickly. Our Panther store, the PBIS team got that Panther store up and going. If you haven't really taken a look in there, it's pretty impressive. Hopefully this is something we'll be able to sustain and keep going. Please stop by and take a look at that. It's something that they've accomplished and they have rolling. We have the Rockstar Room going pretty regularly, of course, on days like today when we have testing going on. We're kind of having to drop back and punt and accommodate the testing because that's so important. Our PBIS team always has room for more folks to join. They have a really cool shirt that they're developing. I know that they're about to place that order, and that should be here probably within a week. So if you're interested in being a part of the PBIS team, it's never too late. Visit with Mrs. Patton. She's the head honcho of the PBIS team, and she has just been doing an awesome job. Also, we've been kicking around doing a teacher incentive for attendance, and so one of the things that we're doing, this is something else that I want you to think about and bring your ideas and thoughts to our faculty meeting, is a financial incentive. Each 6 weeks, if we created a pool, kind of like a drawing, where instead of doing something like we did last year, where we would recognize and draw your name and there would be some prizes that you had chosen on a list. This might be a gift card, like a prepaid Visa card for $100. It may be that we want to do multiple cards for $50, or if we want to do just any number of ways of doing that, and do it each 6 weeks, so that if you were in a pool, you would have a shot at getting drawn. And so one of the ideas we've talked about doing is maybe separating our paraprofessionals from our teachers, so that there's a greater chance for a paraprofessional and for a teacher in smaller pools to be able to be drawn from that. And we'd want to start that as soon as we get kind of an answer from everybody or some feedback. So bring that to the faculty meeting. Finally, showtime. Excuse me. Showtime is a more of an idea, and we're going to kind of what I need from you on this is your feedback on, is this going to be a major disruption, or if there's ways that we can minimize the disruption, because I think it's so important to continue to recognize our kids for the hard work that they're doing, the academic achievement that they have. And so I'd like to set up a time once a week that just becomes a regular part of our schedule, and it may only be about 30 minutes long. It may be that we can make it an hour long, and we can rotate the neighborhood so that they have an opportunity to come out, and there'd be a place that myself and Mrs. Goodwin would be stationed, and we'd be able to recognize kids. They could bring out their graded papers that they have for the week when they've really achieved something, like if they made 100 or a 95, or let's say it's a student that's really struggled and all of a sudden they've performed really well and they have an A on an assignment. It might be that they just made a 90, but you're not used to seeing 90s from the student, and that they could come out and we could high-five those kids and recognize them in the hallways, and we may just set up a table and chairs, and those kids could come to us and we could congratulate them, shake their hand, and just recognize them for that good work. And we don't want to start this where it's just something crazy, but I do want to get your feedback on that. Send me your ideas of what you think would work and what won't work with that. And you can bring them, you can voice them, you can talk to us in the faculty meeting, just so we can see what we can do to advance that. Our CIT has been working. We created a needs assessment, and I'm going to let those folks at the meeting share those things that they've identified. I want you to be thinking over the next couple days, so that on Wednesday you can share with us what you think some of the needs are on our campus. Our CIT, when they get together, they looked at several pieces of data to come up with this needs assessment. Although it's very important to base your decisions on the data that's in front of you, it's also important to hear what you observe as a group of professionals, and that's exactly what you are. We tried to take those items, and we're looking at the goals that our school board has given to our superintendent, and we have those posted down in the 180 room. Anytime you want to go take a look in there at some of those ideas. And when you have an idea of something that we can put on there, you can simply take a sticky note and put that sticky note on the with the item or the information you have and stick that under the goal that it's appropriate under. And our CIT will begin to do that also as we're chugging along through. That way we can see which one of those goals we're addressing properly. So the last item I have on here is some brainstorming, and that's just, I want you guys to be thinking about that. What can we continue to do? When I say this, I don't want you to get the feeling that when we're looking at what we can do to improve, it's not necessarily about working harder. It's sometimes, we work through these things, and when you don't write things down and you don't put them right in front of you, sometimes you miss the obvious things. And so I just want you guys to be thinking about what we can do to continue to improve. Right now, I feel that we've made some huge strides, and I can't wait for you all to have your mid-year data to be able to see what your kids have done, because just as much as we struggle with taking these big steps, the thing is when you take a big step, you're covering more distance than when you took smaller steps. And so as much as we're struggling with making some of those big strides, when we stop and we take a look at what our kids are doing, we're going to be able to see the neat things that the huge gains that those kids are making. Even if they're not hitting the milestones that we're wanting to hit, they're making much more growth this year than we've seen in the past. So I'm really impressed. I'm proud of where we are as a campus, and I'm proud of the hard work that you've been doing. So we have an early release day, and I'm sorry if this picture bothers you. But it just reminded me when we had a couple of our faculty members went to our Capturing Kids' Heart presentation, and so we're going to cover some of that on a week from this Wednesday, on our early release day. We're going to kind of cover some of that information, and one of the things that they told me is so important is for you to bring something that's very important to you. And so I just was thinking of Sméagol from Lord of the Rings with his precious. And so I want you to put some thought into that. Something that's very important to you. It doesn't have to just be school related. It's just something that's important to you. And I want you to think about that and be prepared to talk about why that's so important to you. And we're going to be presenting that at our faculty meeting on the early release day. So bring that with you. Start thinking about it. You've got about a week and a half to really dig in and think about that, because this is kind of, this is one of those parts where you're revealing a little bit about you. And so when something's precious to you and it's important, I mean, we can always do what we think other people will think is important, but really this is coming down to what is very important to you. What's something that, someone else might look at it and they may not care about that the same way that you do. And so there's lots of neat information that we're going to get from Madeline Bell, and she was sharing with me this idea about one of the neat parts of the presentation that they had. And then we're going to hear some stuff from Miss Andrea Hagan also about things that she experienced with that. And then we're also going to cover some other items. Just so you notice here, this isn't a typo, the second bullet. Lunch will be served. Now I know that's going to be late in the day, but we will have some box lunches here from Quiznos. So if you're wanting to hold out for lunch, or if you're wanting just a snack with us, we'll have those items available for you. So I'll wrap this up just sharing with you some really neat pictures of our kids. You can see the excitement on Rachel's face in that picture, and a great Harry Potter costume that just seemed so fitting for that student. And of course, these kids were getting greeted by our faculty members that were fully dressed up. And of course, there's Esther Pren hiding her scarlet letter. And then we've got a black-eyed pea and just some really good work that some parents went into with our presentation. So that's all I got for you. I'm going to wrap this up. Hopefully I can figure out how to stop this recording and it worked out the way that I wanted. I'm sorry if it's really long. Hopefully this is something that I can work on and get better at it as time goes. Thank you.